Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream show. I was going to say, well, almost every day. There are a few days that I've taken on. And the live stream is around the spiritual chat, the discussion about the divination cards drawn in the morning. And so that's a time to be able to get together and hang out together and have this kind of conversation and see what's going on in each other's lives, right? Yeah, it's good stuff. Today is January 14th, and it is Monday. Yeah. The weekend went like that, didn't it? It was here and gone in a blink of an eye. We fit so much in. I have to say, though, that I think it was Saturday. I don't remember. No, it wasn't Saturday. It was Sunday. It was kind of a quiet morning around my house, which doesn't happen all that often. With only, 3 adults in the house and one now 6-month-old puppy. He just turned 6 months old yesterday. It gets kind of lively at my house, just a bit. So before we get rolling much further down the road with the cards, I'm going to take my phone and I am going to like and share our broadcast, our live stream. Scroll till I find it. Here we go. And I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it to my personal timeline first, my news feed, just so that my friends know that I am live streaming. Oops, right now. I got to spell right in order for those key words to come up. And to please join. There we go. All right. And, our social media manager, who is Stephanie Williams, she's doing some family stuff today. And so I am going to share to at least one of the groups. And we're going to do the network in the academy, I believe. I may as well do the communications group too. So I'm just going to let them know that, let the peeps know that I'm live streaming. And to please join. There we go. That's done. That's good. Because I love those quick keys, it makes it so much easier. Okay. Hey, Julie's here. Julie, always good to have you in the house. And she also shared, thank you, Julie. Really appreciate that. And I say this almost every show, I believe. Is that the reason why we ask you to share the live streams, all of our shows, is because it makes it easier for other souls, other people to find us, especially here on Facebook. We do our very best in promoting the shows, but we are inundated with so much information. Almost every second, it seems like that there's something new being added in multiples by hundreds on Facebook. And so it's really easy for an item to get buried. And so we know that Facebook really likes and still likes shares and comments on posts and also on live streams. So with your help with sharing, you help us to be in the news feed more often, and so that it's easier for others to find us. And George is with me today. Like I said, he turned 6 months old yesterday. Yeah. When we brought him home, he was about as big as one of his back legs. He was 11 pounds. I think he's pushing probably 53 or 54 pounds right now, maybe even 55. He's gotten so much taller. I'll get a good picture or some video for you guys so you can see him. He's sleeping underneath the table right now. It's part of his job. His job is to come up here. I tell him every day we're going to work, and I come up here and he's with me. And his job is to help hold the energy for us. And he normally lays right underneath the table where my laptop is. And so that's good stuff, right? I like being up here with him. He's getting pretty used to it, that's for sure. Let's see what else is happening here today in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live. I am broadcasting from the Star Nations Academy, and this is where I do most of the broadcasting from. On occasion, I'm still down at the house. Hey, Violet, it's good to have you here. Yeah, on occasion. It's much more quieter up here. Down there, it's kind of hard to kind of manage the sound when I'm down in the office, broadcasting from there. And I haven't done that since George arrived in September. So that's so I like coming up here though. I do. All right. So today's card draw. Let's see. I should probably show everybody the cards that we're using, just in case we have somebody new and some maybe new people watching the recorded version of this live stream, right? This is the card deck that I'm using. It's Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray, and the artist is Lily Moses. Yeah, this is the card deck that we've been using since September, the end of September. It's a brand new deck, brand new for me for sure. I never knew Kyle before, or about him, I should say. And I found this deck on Amazon.com. I was looking for a new deck of cards, and this one kind of jumped out at me. Kyle Gray is from the UK. He's from Scotland, and Lily Moses is from New Zealand. And so they come with a perspective from that part of the world, okay? But what I like about Kyle's deck is that it seems to be number one, spot on. And number two, he draws on ancient wisdom from many of the indigenous people, okay? And covers, Wicca, he covers paganism, he covers Native American belief system, Christianity, Aboriginal. It's really comprehensive, and that's why I like it. That's why I like it. Hey, Rochelle is here. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. Oh my gosh, and Rochelle is here too. Rochelle Ashley Beaujeu. Beaujeu, she says, from Colorado Rockies. Oh my gosh. Hey, how was that snowstorm that started in that part of the country over the weekend? We got zero. We got some wind, but we didn't have any snow at all. Not what they were talking about, the lower part of the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic, I guess, got it pretty real. So it's so good to have you here, Rochelle. I like seeing your name in the chat. And Andrea is here too. Good afternoon, Andrea. Good to have you here. It's always good to see your name in the chat. I wanted to actually share with you guys something I've been working on all weekend. It's one of those things that I had to set aside to work on the magazine. Because once the magazine gets close to publishing, it's like I have to have blinders on in order to really focus just on that alone. And so one of the things that I had to finish up, because I had started working on it, but I had to finish. So I picked it up over the weekend and started working on it again. And I can say that I'm pretty close to being done. I want to go over it one more time just to kind of tweak it and fine tune it, right? And Rochelle is saying, I live in downtown Springs, a little snow, but lots of wind. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Spirit of Wind was definitely with you guys, huh? I was thinking about you over the weekend, thinking how things were going in your part of on Turtle Island to see, isn't that something, Rochelle, is that you are literally in this, is that the center of the United States? Maybe it's a little bit further west, but, to live in that western part of the United States and feels like it's near the center. That's what it feels like. Okay, so this is what I've been working on. And since you guys come and visit with me every afternoon, we have a core group here, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to share something with you that I haven't announced yet officially. And that official announcement is going to come hopefully tomorrow, no later than Wednesday. And that is, we do have a Star Nations Academy manager. Yes. I've put it out to Spirit right around, or maybe just before the 1212 Gateway. And on the 1212 Gateway I was contacted by this person who is joining our executive team. And we've had a couple of discussions, and I asked her to wait till after the holidays, because, it gets so busy, right, during the holidays, and our focus should be on family during that time frame. And so anyway, we talked again after the holidays, and she said yes. So yay! I'm so excited. So Julie Shumway Hill, and she's in the chat, is joining our executive team. Yes, she's going to help me with the academy, helping me with registrations, and getting all of the information together for the teachers and the students. And and she lives here in Wisconsin. She lives actually an hour from me, down in Wisconsin Dells, where we both grew up. We both have known each other since probably elementary school. I want to probably say since second grade. Maybe first grade, maybe in first grade, because I was in the morning kindergarten. I don't remember, Julie, if you were in the morning or afternoon kindergarten. I don't remember. But we went through all the way through elementary, all the way through middle school, right? And high school together. And so we've known each other for a really long time. And so it's nice to have somebody who has that kind of history with me, to be able to be here to help me amplify the message and the gifts of our writers and our radio or our live stream show hosts, and also because they're all our teachers too, right? And so I'm very excited about this. And so we're going to start putting together the items that Julie's going to need to help me do this. So let's see. Hey, Stephanie's here. Yay! I wasn't expecting you, Steph, because I know that you're on the road and you're helping family, right? So she says, here for a couple of minutes to listen before we get working on the next step of the cluster of chaos. Well, it is family stuff, It usually comes with the territory. And of course, she's wooting for Julie Hill. And Rochelle says, little west of center, but within the four corners, very central to the latitudes and vortexes. It kind of felt that way whenever I tune into you, Rochelle, is that it feels that way, right? Near the center. Exactly where you need to be, lady. Yeah. Julie says, Mrs. Floss afternoon. See, I knew it. I had Mrs. Daly in the morning. Yeah. And so we didn't meet up until first grade then. Yeah. There was those kindergarten classes. The only thing I really remember about kindergarten is the nap time, mid-morning. We had to roll out our mats. I had a Mexican blanket, kind of smaller blanket that we put on the floor. Yeah. And I remember they were teaching us how to tie our shoes, and I already knew how to tie my shoes. My older brother wanted to make sure that I aced it before I even got into kindergarten. So he taught me how to tie my shoes and how to use a scissor. And so when we went over that in kindergarten, I was bored. And Rochelle is saying, yes, I remember Julie. Thank you for helping Neshi with her work. Ah, so good. Thank you. And it's interesting. Okay, this is interesting because Julie does have a 9-to-5, right? She works for the state of Wisconsin in the same department. Let's see, is it the same department? Maybe, I can't remember. I think we used to be under DHS, and then they moved us under DWD. Isn't that right, Rochelle? Because Rochelle and I were coworkers for the same department. Julie works in the same building. I think we're in the same. We would have been if we would have stayed there in the same department. I worked for the Bureau of Child Support, and Rochelle was a tribal liaison. And yeah, so we also have that in common, the working for the state of Wisconsin. Um, yeah. And Rochelle just recently retired, so her golden handcuffs have been removed. Removed. I left before, but they only had one of them on, one of the golden handcuffs. I didn't have the other one on. And so the time there was we learned a lot. I did anyway. I learned a lot about myself and about civil servant work. Yeah. So, so I'm very happy and very appreciative. I am grateful. Julie said yes, because we get to do some organizing, and we've got classes coming up starting in March. So we literally have to get the ball rolling on the promotion. And so both Julie and Stephanie will work together in some aspects when we're doing the promotion of the classes of the academy. So yay, yay, I'm so happy. And so is Paul. Because he says, oh my God, that must mean that you're going to be able to take a little time off. And I said, well, maybe in maybe a month or two, maybe 3, depending on how long it takes to put the process together and to work out. Because every time you start something or someone new, having to do a little training, but to help them put their process together so it makes sense to them, and it also meets what we need, right? And so to work that out, and because Stephanie and I are working on that right now, and to be able to get the process in place, do some tweaks, and then we get to do some of the maintenance, just kind of maintaining it and tweaking it, and then reflecting on it and making some changes, and at the end of the year or something like that. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yay! That 12/12 gateway stuff was really good to me. Excellent with me. All right. So I'm going to show you the cards that we've got today. Now, cards that we've had before, but I don't think they were in this combination. I don't think so. But this is the first card that came. The artwork on these cards are just something else. I just love them. So this is the Medicine Mother. Medicine Mother. It says, honor your inner knowing. Honor your inner knowing. Yeah. And then you look at the around her ears, the ornamentation from her headdress, and the cowrie shells hanging from her temples, right? From her headdress. To me, that is all really clear hearing, clear audient. Cowrie shells are, those aren't cowrie shells. So cowrie shells are around her necklace. I'm not sure what that ornamentation is. If you take a look at it, see if I can get it to focus. It looks like elongated beads to me. Yeah. But at any rate, they're near her ears, and that always signifies clear audient, clear hearing. And then you see the sign of infinity around her eyes, right? Her physical eyes. Her physical eyes. And then you have the large claws on her near her chest, and also off from her ears, or the headdress near her ears. And if you're talking about Medicine Mother, when you're talking about a mother, very protective, very nurturing, right? The stereotype is, the archetype. And so the claws to me, and that, especially the big one near her heart, near her chest, is to me, that signifies huge protection, right? Um, yeah, like the mother bear and her cubs, or the lioness and her cubs. That's what reminds me of. Yeah. And Julie says, "Good for me too." Yay, Julie! We're going to build something here together for sure. For sure. Okay. So, um, I was going to share a little bit about the cowrie shells because the cowrie shells I also have on my medicine dress. Um, the cowrie shells are a very feminine energy symbol. Okay. And in many indigenous people across the world, it signifies abundance of blessings. In some indigenous cultures, it actually equates to wealth, monetary wealth. But in this case, it really is more about wealth in a way that is about wisdom. Okay. And how do we get wisdom? How do we gain it, right? Um, it's through experience. It's through life experience. It's through those, what we call life lessons, you know. It's through, on the medicine wheel, the way I have learned about the medicine wheel is it's that walk between the east and the west. And some call it the blue road, some call it the black road. But it's that walk that we do here, that's our earth walk, okay? And we're going from our mental mind or thoughts in the east to our emotions and our heart in the west. And what we're learning how to do is to balance the two, And in some respects, it's could be called mastery, okay? It could be called mastery. And so all of our experiences along the way is where we gain our wisdom. Every time we have to face a fear, we have to heal a trauma, experience those shocking moments, whether it is a shock that we might deem negative, right? Or a shock that we may deem positive, right? That's how we gain our wisdom, is when we actually learn from it. We learn from it. All right. Let's see. Rochelle is saying also infinity and past and present, contextual, multi-dimensional. I think she's trying to say knowledge that must be applied appropriately. Absolutely, yes. And the knowledge is in the wisdom that we gave. Yep, got that one. And Violet says, I have to go. I'll listen to the rest later. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Violet. I appreciate it. And Rochelle is saying, my computer keeps correction. I know it. That autocorrection. Sometimes it works wonders and you think, thank God, because otherwise it would have gone out, misspelled or something. But other times the autocorrect just messes up what we mean. And then we have to go back and correct it. All right, so with the medicine mother, now the other day we shared about the word medicine, just the word medicine, and what that means from which perspective, right? I think it was the medicine guardian, if I remember right, and he was holding the caduceus for the medical world, right? And it does mean that. Somebody that has the information or knowledge about Western medicine, right? Western doctors, the doctors that we have here in the United States. But it also has to mean about the spirit of, For instance, the medicine of eagle, the medicine of wolf. You might even be able to say spirit of. Okay, we're usually talking about the archetype when we're talking about the medicine, right? You hear the phrase, and I've said it before, good medicine and bad medicine, because medicine is energy, okay? And so energy is energy, medicine is medicine. It doesn't have a good or a bad. When it comes to us, it comes in its wholeness from the Creator. And how it gets the connotation of good or bad is how a two-legged, a human, decides how to use it. The reason to use it, what they're intending it for. And the royal we, all have our own medicine. We have our own spirit, right? And so it depends on how we use our gifts, on whether that is good or bad. We're the ones who put the label on it, the connotation on it, the spin on it, the spin on it. Oops, I went the wrong way. There we go. I take a drink of water here. It's very dry. It's part of the year where there's very little moisture in the air. And when you have forced air heat, it is dry. Not as dry as when you have wood heat, but it's dry. Up here it's not too bad because we have the radiant heat in the floor, and so it doesn't get as dry up here. But down at the house it certainly does. All right, let's see what Kyle tells us about Medicine Mother. Medicine Mother. Gotta get there. Here she is. It says, honor your inner knowing. The message is take action. Do what you need to do. I'm sorry. Do what you know you need to do. Do what you know you need to do. He says that that we all know a maternal figure who is extremely intuitive and insightful. And this medicine mother has gone through many ups and downs. She has lived and she has lost. She knows what it's like to suffer and to want to give up. So the medicine of this card is that it's okay to make mistakes and get it wrong sometimes. And it's okay for things to come to an end. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of one chapter and the beginning of something new. The medicine mother reminds you that even though you will have low lows, you aren't here to suffer. You're here to be supported and to support others. Let her give you the loving encouragement to take the next step forward. The next step forward. And I think this is building on the cards from yesterday as well. Because yesterday's cards was about letting go, releasing. Yeah. Releasing ancestral patterns, remember? Yeah. And with the medicine mother, with the wisdom that she carries, that if we're having an indecisive moment about what beliefs do we keep, which ones do we let go, what do we let go that is no longer supporting us but actually is a hindrance to our soul growth, and the goal that we're trying to achieve in our soul growth. When we call on the medicine mother, she can actually help us. She can give us the strength and the courage to do that discerning, to take that step, and to possibly to release whatever it is that we need to release. We also talked about how change can be difficult for some people. And when we come to a part of our lives where we're being encouraged by our soul and by our spirit to change and to let things go that no longer support us. And in that change, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to change the status quo, right? And to go into something called the unknown because we don't know all the answers about where we might want to go or be as we intend. And so it's kind of hard to do that sometimes because it's scary, to go into something that you don't really know all the answers to. But that's life. We don't know a lot of the answers to a lot of things. Um, yeah. So Rochelle's saying, have to leave. Have a great rest of the day. Namaste. To you too, Rochelle. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Um, and so the medicine mother, Kyle goes on to say that this is there is an old pattern rising up in you now, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. So I think that these two cards that we had, this one and the one that we had yesterday, because that was called the Elder, right? And that was about releasing ancestral patterns. You're being encouraged to love and respect yourself enough to take the steps you know you need to take to move closer to where you would like to be. You already know the answers. You know what you need to do. You may have been using delaying tactics and holding back, but now you are being guided to take action. Action requires courage. But your angels and guides are bringing you to the courage to move forward. Take just one step. When you do, the next one will be presented to you. And I always say, even if it's just a baby step, it's a step. Yeah. I've said this before, but maybe not in this particular daily live stream, is that when we make the decision to make a change in our lives, whether it's to let go of certain beliefs or parts of our belief system, so that we can expand and grow in the soul growth that we're meant to do. It's a leap of faith, right? And that leap of faith isn't anything outside of ourselves. It really is a leap of faith into ourselves, inward. And so it's about trusting ourselves, right? Trusting our spiritual team, trusting that at a soul level, we already know the answer. We already know. And really, it is about our conscious self doing all of that work that we need to do so that we can actually hear, sense, or feel the information coming through to us from our soul and allowing our soul to lead, right? Yeah. I know it sounds, I make it sound, oh yeah, that's all I have to do. Now, come on. We all know that it takes a little work on our part. It takes work, dedication to our intentions, self-discipline. We've talked about the benefits of grounding a lot since probably September, somewhere in there. And the benefits of grounding every day, twice a day. And some people are really doing it, which is great because it's helping you. But when you help yourself, you are affecting your environment. You're changing the vibration and the frequency of your environment when you do that. And so it's kind of like a chain reaction or that ripple effect, right? So if we all take the time and do our grounding, we really do shift energy in a good way. And so, yeah, sometimes it takes some self-discipline to commit to it and to actually do it. It's the taking action. It's the taking action. Yeah. Julie is saying, leap and the net will appear. Yeah, that's a quote from somewhere, isn't it? Leap and let the net appear. It sounds like something Dwayne Dyer would say. Yeah, I remember. Actually, I was working for the state of Wisconsin when this came up. That leap of faith, and it's when I learned that it wasn't a leap of anything outside of myself. That what was the reason why I was delaying leaving my state position was about the leap of faith within myself. And the day that I realized that was I guess it would be the evening. The evening that I realized that was the next day. When I went into work, I typed up my resignation and I handed it in. I sent it to my supervisor and CC'd our gosh, now I'm even forgetting the titles. My direct supervisor and then his supervisor, right? And I tell you what, I did that at 8 o'clock in the morning, and before it was 9 o'clock, it went through the entire bureau. Yvette's leaving. But that was the time I realized what that meant. It was a leap inside of myself. That faith that I had to have to take that leap inside of myself. Yeah. Julie's saying, I don't remember where I first heard it, but it always stuck with me. Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason why I even mentioned Dwayne Dyer, because it was either him at the time that when I took that leap, it was either him or it was Gary Zukav, one of the two, because I was reading both their books at the time, and yeah, so it was that leap. We have when we have that faith in ourselves, that means that we trust ourselves and we trust our spiritual team, our spiritual helpers. And when we have that, when we take those steps to expand and to do our soul growth. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's easy peasy stuff, but it gets you more than halfway there. Yeah, it gets you more than halfway there. Actually, there was that when I was leaving the state of Wisconsin. I tell you what, Spirit was just really. There weren't even nudges anymore. It was literally, look at this. We're going to make this very difficult because you need to leave. And the last piece that really did it for me, and I had made the plans. Paul and I had talked about it and, kind of planned it out, right? When would be a good time to actually make that exit? And I had promised him that I would stay in my position until, I think it was like August or something like that. He was on a business trip, and so he was gone for that week. And I was working on tribal child support stuff, and we finally finished it. And Rochelle was helping with it too. We finally finished it, and they were we actually had input into the federal regs, and the feds were going to roll out the regulations for tribal child supports, and they were having the big official rollout at the Shakopee reservation in Minnesota. And I'd been traveling a lot for that. And of course, you get to know people, right? And both on feds and tribal side. And I was getting calls and emails and saying, you're going to be there, right? You're going to be there. And I said, yeah, you know the drill. I gotta get permission to travel outside the state. And so I sent the information up the chain for the permission, and my director turned me down because I'd been traveling so much that, we needed to let other people do this too. And so, poor guy, his name was Dave. He was a good man, good heart, good soul. His was, and he did work on the computer piece, the mainframe piece, and so he was familiar with that part. But they decided to send him, and it was nothing against Dave at all. But I went and talked to my supervisor and I said, really, really, you guys have not learned anything from history. With working with Native Americans, you're sending a white man to a Native American reservation to roll out federal regs. There's something wrong with that picture. And so that was the final straw for me. But in hindsight, that 2020, right, vision in hindsight is that it had to be so uncomfortable for me that it pushed me in the direction of having to leave. And so, I look back on that now and thinking, wow, with everything that Spirit had shown me that I disregarded, or I don't want to see that right now. I should have left probably 3 or 4 months before that, or even 6 months before that. And I smile about it now, but it had me in tears at the time. But once I did the resignation, it was like this huge relief. I felt so much better. And of course, I gave them 2 weeks, and my last day there, the director never came to me to wish me well, and it was her habit to do that for people who were leaving. And so she even sent me an email. She goes, just a really busy day. I'll get to you, before the end of the day. Well, she never did. And so as I was walking out, I stopped by her office, and, to tell her goodbye and thank her for, the opportunities that were given to me. And I said, but if you don't mind, I'd really like to give you a hug, because it was you who really was the messenger of me needing to leave, because I was holding up the show. There was somebody else who needed to be here, and I was holding up the show. And so, and I felt really good about it. It's like I was happy with it. But I also planned my own going away party. Yeah. Michelle says, people were very surprised, but we, Sherry and I, knew it was coming and it was needed. Your position was no longer serving, but draining all of us, really. I know. Wasn't that true, though? Absolutely. I can see that now, and I could see it even before the 2 weeks was up. Yeah. I also learned a lot about myself. I did. But that is about getting back to the kind, honoring your inner knowing. Honor your inner knowing. It's about gaining that wisdom. That's how we get our inner knowing, that we trust it. Yeah. And sometimes those decisions that we make, we feel like they're difficult. In the moment they are. But once we understand the lesson around it and we gather that wisdom, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. In fact, it's kind of, you can actually kind of laugh about some of it by that time. And so with the Medicine Mother card today is really about really gathering your inner knowledge. We have it. We have that wisdom. And it's about trusting in ourselves, right? And if we need help with that, if we need help with that, we can always call on our spiritual team, because we have those decisions to make. Kyle is writing here. He said that there is an old pattern rising up in you now, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. There's an old pattern rising up within you now. So, on an individual basis, what is that? What is that for you? What is that for you? An old pattern. And sometimes those old patterns are ancestral, right? And other times they're within our own lifetime. We have these old patterns, you know. I was thinking about, my mom came from a really big family. There was 11 children born to my grandparents, and only 5 survived. And she told me not too long ago, she said, there were so many of us, and the time span between siblings was about 2 years. And she was saying that sometimes the only time you got any attention at all was when you were sick. And so in order to get attention from your mom or from your dad was when you weren't feeling well. And so she said she realized that there were times when some of her illnesses were probably more about that. She had a couple really serious illnesses too. So spent time in a sanatorium for when tuberculosis was really going rampant through Native America, and so as a child, I think she said she was 12 when that happened. She spent nearly a year away from home, and my grandparents went to go see her once, I think it was. And so, when you're looking at old patterns coming to the surface, she was talking about that to me the other day. That, here she is 99 and she's reflecting on that. That in order to get any kind of nurturing, individually nurtured, that they had to be ill to do that. So that's an example. That's an example of an old pattern rising up, so that you can deal with it and release it for good. So it may be an ancestral pattern that's rising up for you to take a look at, or it could be one within your own lifetime, and something that you have a pattern that you set from when you were young, and now it's no longer. It doesn't work anymore. And so it's really probably more of a hindrance, a block, than a help. And so releasing it, right? And when you do the releasing, because it's kind of like a space clearing, is that you're creating a void. And so have the intention of what you want to fill that void, right? A more positive something that really is meant to support you, whatever that is. And if and if you can't think of anything right off the top of your head or spend time with it, you can always fill it with the Creator's love. Love, light, and truth, right? It's kind of like a standard. All right, so here's the second card, because we got not quite 10 minutes to do this. This is the Stargazer. He shows up at least a couple times a month. Stargazer. So you have the constellations in the background. You have the stars on his cloak. And his telescope has the astrology symbols on it. Yeah. Stargazer. And who here doesn't like looking at the stars? You know, we name star nations for a reason. You know, it's multiple meanings. I love looking at the stars. It's a little hard to do that here because we have so many trees. But we have, now that we have the front yard here at the academy, it's a little bit of an opening that we can actually look up. Sometimes we have to take a little bit of a drive to one of the fields, farmer fields around here, to be able to get a good look at the stars. But you know, the stargazer is set your sights higher. Set your sights higher. And sometimes our goals or our intentions, we set them with, how do we want, you know, when they're smaller. I was trying to find a good way to say it, but they're saying smaller. We tend to do small. Don't do small, do bigger. Do bigger. Set your sights higher. Higher. Why? Because we have so many helpers in spirit. We have so many. We have our entire spiritual team, which is just, it's more than just a couple of beings that are helping us. But we also have all of our ancestors that we see in the night sky, the stars. We have star beings that are helping. They want to help us. They want to see us succeed. You know, they want us to be raising our vibration to the optimal. And so they're here to help us. All we have to do is ask. Star beings. So let's see what the Stargazer is all about. Like I said, he shows up at least a couple of times a month. Stargazer. The message is go beyond your limitations and believe that the impossible is possible. Go beyond your limitations. Go beyond your patterns. Go beyond the things that, by doing the releasing, right? By doing the releasing work, trusting in your inner knowledge, and setting your sights, your intentions, your goals a lot bigger, because we have so much help. I like these two together. And we have balance. We have a male and a female. We have Grandmother Earth in the Medicine Mother, and we have Grandfather Sky in the Stargazer. We've got balance. I like those two together. So Kyle goes on to say that the Stargazer connects with the energy of the cosmos and reminds you that you have the ability to draw in support from the universe. His cloak with its sparkles and lights, I should say, shows that you are closer to the energy of the universe than you think. You don't have to go out looking for it. It's already here. You already have it. So look beyond where you are and create even bigger dreams, visions, and goals, because with the power and help of the cosmos, those wishes can come true. So as below, as above, so below, as within, so without, the Hermetic law. We have the entire universe right inside of us. We have all that help right at our fingertips, right at our heart level. He goes on to say that you're on the verge of a miracle. All of your dreams and aspirations are within your grasp, and you're being guided to focus on your vision. The angels who are with you are encouraging you. There is nothing that you cannot have or achieve. There's an opportunity at this time to heal an old wound or pattern of lack and not feeling good enough. In the past, you've often found it impossible to recognize your worth and to believe that you're deserving of blessings. Angel and ancestor wisdom is reminding you that you have an incredible and infinite spark of the universe, and that the universe is not only within you, it absolutely adores you. That you're talented, filled with strength, and have the abilities you need to turn your wildest dreams into reality. And so, one is telling us that we have an old pattern that's rising up within us to be released and healed. And so is the other one. And that we have both of their support in order to get that done, so that we can use our gifts even more, that our intuition, we have more access and trust in our intuition more, and that we have soul growth, right? I think it's so like way cool. So what is that old pattern that's rising up for you to look at, heal, and let go? And if you need help, you have the help of the entire universe. It's within you and above you for us. I think it's like way cool. So what is it? What is that pattern? What is that old something that needs to be healed and released? Very interesting, isn't it? I think so. Let's see. I'm going to check my phone because it looks like the... Lynn Marie is here too. Hello, Lynn Marie. It's good to have you here. Okay. Yeah, think about it. Feel about it. Be quiet for a moment and check in with yourself and say, okay, what is it? What is it that's coming to the surface? An old pattern, something that's been around for a while that needs healing and releasing. What is that? Because it feels like to me that once we do that for ourselves, that we're going to have this leap, that leap of faith, right? That we can dream bigger. We can that the miracle is right around the corner. Julie's saying, I've been hearing the message a lot lately, letting go of fear and letting my light shine. It's so true, really. A lot. There is an opportunity here for us, an opportunity. And we have free will. We have a choice. We have a choice to make. We can take a look at whatever that is that needs to be healed and released, this old pattern that's coming to the surface or already has come to the surface. And we can do the work that's needed. We need to act on it and make a decision to do that. Or we have the decision to continue to procrastinate, continue to make up excuses. We have that choice. But either choice, the consequences are there as well, right? That's another law, cause and effect. So which would you like to do? Gaining that inner knowledge, that wisdom through the life lesson, or to have something that's been hanging around a while, hang around a little bit longer, or a long while longer, that's impeding you. Yeah. It's really up to you. And let me tell you, we have Wednesday night at 7 p.m. with Polly Jo LeBay, Soul Connections, that can be helpful here. If you don't know what it is and you're thinking, God, what could that be? You can actually come to that. The first part of that is about healing. You can come in with your own intention of identifying what that is and what is it going to take to heal it, to release it. because it's a support system in place for you to do that. Bring your intention, call on your full team to be with you, and Polly Joe, she creates the sacred space for us to do that work in. Yeah, yeah. So we have opportunities. We have opportunities. Um, yeah. So if anything that resonated with you today, in the sharing, in the chat, in the discussion, the spiritual conversation, please embrace it. Pick it up and embrace it, and see how the energy of the day unfolds for you, and where this information is helpful. Um, maybe you're in a direct participant to it, or maybe you're witnessing it. Doesn't matter, because you're learning something from it, right? And if it didn't resonate, don't worry about it. There's always tomorrow. There's tomorrow card draw that may be just for you. So don't worry about it. If you want, you can share the link to the recorded show today with somebody that you think would be enjoying the conversation, or could be very helpful to them because they were looking for information. Yeah. So this week for Star Nations, our live stream shows. First one up is at noon tomorrow with Polly Jo LeBay at Chakra Sessions. And she is going to be sharing about our multi-dimensional aura. Yeah, it's going to be another good one. And so, what she does with that show is it's kind of like a mini class, really. She'll tell us the information about that and where in our chakras maybe that it could be a block, or we need healing around in order for whatever this to occur. And then she follows it up with a healing meditation. Okay. So it's very specific to that topic. And then at that evening, Tuesday evening, is my show, my weekly show, Communications from Home. And my guest is one of our brand new live stream hosts and contributing writers to the magazine, Maureen Mann. The name of her new show, live stream show, is Angel Therapy, and that is debuting on Thursday, January 24th. So on Tuesday night, if you don't know Maureen, you get to meet her and get to know her a little bit. We're going to be talking about her new show, her column, and also her connection to the angels, as well as her knowledge about mindfulness. Yeah, it's going to be good. Hope you can join us. That's 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday night. Wednesday afternoon is Nature Adventures with my good star, Minnie Kinsman, and I. We're going to be co-hosting that show. And what we're going to be sharing about is the earth element and January, and what energy flows during January. And so we're going to be talking about that. And that's at 4 p.m. Eastern with Minnie and I, Nature Adventures. And then Wednesday night is Polly Jo's show, Soul Connections, which I just shared about. It's an hour. It's actually longer than that. It is an evening of healing, divine healing. And then after the healing meditation is done, Polly Jo does individual card draws. So if you like a mini reading with Polly Jo, join us on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Yay. Let's see. Thursday. Polly Jo's going to be really busy this week for Star Nations. Polly Jo is back on Thursdays, but you know what she's going to be doing is she's doing a mini free class on the Star Nations Academy closed group. Okay, and if you're not a member of the closed group, just go to the page and you can ask to be to join, and we'll get you set up. Okay, this was a request coming out of the community, actually out of this daily live stream. People were asking about being an empath, newly acknowledged gift of an empath. What do you do with it now? How do you get to the point of seeing it as a gift? Well, Polly Jo is going to come, and she is going to be giving us just the basics of what our chakras, how we can use them, when we're an empath. Okay, very, very basic information. It's an hour class, so if you want to join us and you're not a member of the Academy closed group at Facebook, please just go to the group and ask to be a member, and we'll get you set up. Okay, yay! It's a full week. It's a full week of classes and shows. So thank you for being here with me this afternoon and having a conversation, a spiritual conversation about the card draw. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for the daily live stream and the cards that were drawn in the morning. And that's at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay. All right. So Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.